Chief Justice of Nigeria summons heads of courts over conflicting ex parte orders as Nigeria attempts to batten down, PDP, I beg your pardon, attempts to batten down the hatches against discordant tunes as stakeholders plan for national convention. APC leaders and stakeholders in Benue tell Governor Otom to apologize to the president over unguarded remarks. Benue remains in the news, the food basket and its basket of travails. We have a major stakeholder and many questions. Also on political update today, Vice President Oshibajo gives pointers on ensuring lasting peace and development in Nigeria. You know, this is your eclectic political ensemble and we don't pull any punches. I'm Fisayo Ogunfui. Welcome. Vice President Yemi Oshibajo has given assurance that the federal government will continue to work with faith-based organizations and communities in the country to build on the achievements made in the past in ensuring peaceful coexistence among all religions and peoples of the country.
Issues put on the table for discussion during the Katse visit include creating more awareness and understanding among adherents of all religions. Vice President Yemi Oshibajo expressed the need to understand, first of all, that there is no way that the nation can deal with the tensions between the faith and ethnicities in Nigeria today unless those in leadership are prepared to make some important sacrifices. In addition to leaders making sacrifices, the Vice President said the notion of respectful dialogue is also crucial, especially at this time, noting that setting up an inclusive platform for interfaith dialogue should be an important consideration by concerned stakeholders. Disu Kamar is the leader of the delegation.
We have to contribute to peace building, and religions, both Christianity and Islam, have rich traditions in them to inspire their adherents to live peacefully with each other. It is time that we continue to emphasize the similarities that we have rather than focus on the differences that have been setting us apart and setting us on each other.
The Vice President applauded the achievements of the center, urging it to be aggressive in the promotion of peace, unity, and religious tolerance.
Following the recent spate of conflicting ex parte orders of some courts over certain political matters, the Chief Justice of Nigeria has summoned heads of courts concerned.
The Nigerian Television Authority can exclusively confirm that the Chief Justice of Nigeria and Chairman of the National Judicial Council, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed, has shown concern over the series of conflicting and contradictory ex parte orders of courts on some political leadership matters, which have resulted in embarrassing the nation's judiciary. The summons went to the Chief Judges of Jigawa, Rivers, Kebbi, Anambra, and Cross River States judiciaries for an emergency meeting to brief the Chief Justice of Nigeria on the incessant granting of conflicting ex parte applications by courts of coordinate jurisdiction. The CJN's letter of summons said that an explanation is even more compelling having regard to the earlier NJC's warning to judicial officers to be circumspect in granting ex parte applications.
Under the weight of several court orders, the 92nd National Executive Committee meeting of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, held over the weekend with emphasis on achieving the much-needed unity and cohesion within the party. Abuja was approved as venue for the proposed 30th of October 2021 National Convention. The report.
It has been quite a turbulent few weeks in the People's Democratic Party, with who occupies the Hellsman seat, a major bone of contention. This National Executive Committee meeting of the People's Democratic Party was called to take decision on the party's forthcoming National Convention. Acting National Chairman of the PDP, Elder Yemi Akinwumi, presided over the meeting, which many believe is not unconnected with State Justice Edem Ita Kofre of Calabar High Court granting an order of interim injunction restraining Prince Uche Secondus from functioning as the National Chairman of the party and also barring him from participating in the NEC meeting. Leadership of the party noted the activities of their stakeholders to foster cohesion in the party.
I am pleased to announce to you all that those interventions are yielding the desired results. Challenges, disputations, disagreements are a part of life and indeed politics. But what is important is how they are resolved. And I want to assure you that the National Assembly, we are fully intact, we are fully there, and we are with our party. I can assure Nigerians they should look forward to the next PDP administration.
PDP spokesperson Kola Olobodi, on conveying the resolution of the meeting, says PDP's NEC will reconvene on the 9th of September 2021 to give approval to nomination of members that will serve on the National Convention committees. PDP members will hope the party is sailing into calmer waters after the turbulence of the past weeks. Meanwhile, the former national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Babanga Tukur, has urged the leadership and members of major political parties in the country to eschew bitterness and rancor as they engage in internal maneuvering for power to ensure the protection of the nation's democracy. In a statement by his special advisor on media, Oliver Okpala, Babanga Tukur says he decided to make this intervention because of the current bad blood, rancorous disunity and widening cracks in the major parties and main opposition, PDP. It expresses worry that if this current spate of disunity and acrimony in parties continue, the nation's democracy will be greatly endangered. The statement further stresses that democracy only thrives when there is peace, stability and proper functioning of internal conflict resolution mechanisms of political parties.
Meanwhile, leaders of the All Progressive Congress in Benue State have called on Governor Samuel Ortom to publicly apologize to President Muhammadu Buhari. The Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs and former Governor of Benue State, Senator George Akume, who led the APC stakeholders at a press briefing, called on the President to declare a state of emergency in Benue State due to the security situation there.
The APC group says this follows the current security situation in the state and the utterances of Governor Samuel Ortom, who has been reported making uncomplimentary remarks against the president. The stakeholders at this briefing said this is not the time to sit on the fence and stated their position with an agenda to promote harmonious relationship and peace within Benue State. Benue State, like other states, it was agreed here, is the beneficiary of the current administration with hundreds of billions of naira allocated to it as monthly allocation and other interventions.
To fight insecurity in any part of the nation is a joint effort among the three tiers of government, federal, state, and local governments, of which President Buhari regularly assigns various and forces formations to help Benue in the exercise.
The stakeholders also demanded for true accountability of Governor Ortom's led government in Benue State and urged him to engage all tiers of government to enable him regain control of the state.
We demand that the governor renders account of the arbitrary 800 million monthly deductions he appropriates to himself as security votes, as well as the over 200 million monthly deduction he makes from the local government joint account. We invite the EFCC to step into the matter and help the Benue people.
They commended the Buhari administration for embarking on infrastructural projects of more than 270 billion naira in Benue State.
All right, joining us now is former Minister of State Niger Delta Affairs and APC governorship aspirant to be in Benue State, Honorable Barrister Sam Ode. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon.
It's been quite a while.
Thank you so much.
You were in this meeting yesterday.
Yes, I was, pleased.
And we saw a number of, political leaders there, including, the Honorable Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, and of course, the quintessential senator himself, Barnabas Gemadi, there sitting in that meeting. What brought about that meeting, first of all, then before we go to perhaps resolving some of the issues?
Well, as a state, we have come to a point where we are worried about the security situation in Benue. And I must give you a background that we have had series of bipartisan meetings at Government House Makodi to deliberate on ways of solving these problems. I recall that a few months ago, the Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Senator George Akume, met with the Governor of Benue State, His Excellency Governor Otom, and the former Governor of Benue State, Senator Gabriel Suswam, with a view to looking at the issues that will make us to overcome the situation we find ourselves. Now, we are building peace, and if the peace building effort is to be consolidated, then we must abhor the use of strong language, hate speech, and anything that will undermine this peace process. And so, when the governor of Benue, in the last few weeks, started to take a swipe on the president of the Republic of Nigeria, who were worried because security is something that is multidimensional. You have to work with people, you have to work with different tiers of government to be able to address these issues. So we think that there are better ways to go about it than to engage in name calling, especially when it has to do with the high office of Mr. President. And that is why we have to come together to say we have to do something. Otherwise, tomorrow our people will hold us accountable.
All right, let's move a bit further. You know, the current administration has often been in the public space intimating the public about some steps they are taking, perhaps to tackle the state of insecurity across the nation. But it seems as if, the proponents of violence, the proponents of who want to perhaps break the peace at all times, are also upping their game. If we look at it this way, is the political class part of the solution or part of the problem in all these problems?
The political class is a part of the solution to the extent that there is a synergy among political actors. But if we begin to engage in war of attrition, that will certainly undermine the situation. I want to state clearly that banditry, by whatever name you call it, organized crime, syndicated crime, by whatever coloration it is a common enemy to our nation, Nigeria, today. And so we are better off working together to surmount it, other than recourse to, issues that will undermine the process.
Let me recoin it. Is there any political undertone to this verbal gymnastics or jousting?
In politics, people employ all kinds of, advantages to gain capital. And so it is not unlikely that as we begin to approach elections, some actors begin to see how they can cash in on what they think are the weaknesses of others to gain political advantage. Certainly, that is one of the factors.
In the course of my work with the NTA, we've gone through Benue State up to the reason why you call the food basket, even down to the yam market in Zakibiam. Those areas now seem a bit difficult to assess at times, simply because of some of these cases of insecurity. Are you listening to the people themselves, apart from what we are seeing, throwing stones across, party divides and all that? Are we listening to the, the villagers, the people in those communities that have been affected?
No, we don't even need to say more. The people who have been affected, Benue has been a killing field in the last few years. Nobody is happy about it. It is regrettable that every day you wake up, you hear of numbers of people being killed. It is something that is heartrending. Nobody should celebrate that. Nobody should be happy about it. But if that is the situation we have found ourselves, we need to look for the solution other than to make political capital out of it.
All right, we'll come for the closing remarks. Let's take a few stories. Still on peace and security, advocates of peace say the future of the nation is in the hands of the youths, and they posit that the youths must play a more active role towards building a peaceful and secure nation. This was at the affirmative meeting on the 2021 to 2024 National Action Plan on Youth, Peace and Security.
The National Action Plan on Youth, Peace and Security is born out of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2250 on Youth, Peace and Security 2015. As a member country, Nigeria is leveraging on the pillars of the resolution, which recognizes the role of youth as peace and nation builders.
When the youths are empowered, it reduces violence.
And let them be part of the decision making, both at the local level, at the state level, and including the federal level.
The plan is hinged on 6 pillars. They are participation, protection, prevention, partnership, disintegration, and reintegration.
The cardinal objective of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2250 is to domesticate and implement with a view to building lasting peace and security in Nigeria, with their young women and men taking the lead.
Once the implementation plan is approved, that is what we will now use to reach all the states of this country.
This document, one, is more tailored towards prevention and also being able to work on the psychology of young people.
The project is being piloted by the Federal Ministry of Sports and Youth Development in collaboration with the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution.
And finally, family and friends of Senator Bala Ibn Nala of Kebbi South are yet to overcome the shock of the gruesome murder of Captain Abdulkarim Bala Ibn Nala by assailants. The family has been receiving scores of sympathizers in Kaduna over the unfortunate incident.
Among the early callers are Representative Kabiru Tukura of the House of Representatives and other sympathizers from Kaduna, Kebbi, and various parts of the country. They described late Abdul Karim as a gentle, hardworking, and likable personality.
It's ugly, it's sad, and it's very unfortunate. All we could say is, may Allah have mercy on Abdul Karim's soul. May Allah accept him.
He's very loyal to his parents and relatives and friends.
Very terrifying, very painful. All of us are saddened by this development.
Ibn Na'ala, aged 36, is the eldest son of Senator Bala Ibn Na'ala, representing KB South Senatorial Zone.
All right, the ugly trend of violence across and a huge toll on family, friends, and all, parents and all that, especially when you also look at the issues of, school abductions and all that. You have mounted the terrain at the podium, advertising your credentials to be an helpsman of the state. I understand that you still even want to also do this again in the next couple of years. What would be your solution, for instance, in broad terms, to bring this, escalating propensity for violence under check?
Well, the panacea for this series of attacks and insecurity is for greater collaboration among the tiers of government. The community, the traditional rulers, all people that are stakeholders must have their hands on deck. I've had the benefits of working with Governor Gabriel Suswam of Benue State, and I know that during that time, we had some of these skirmishes, these conflicts, and a committee was set up in which the Sultan of Sokoto himself had to come all the way from his domain to Benue State, and he presided over a meeting which was then known as the Sultan Committee for Peace Building. That committee was able to do quite a lot, and we were able to manage this. I also worked with the government of Governor Akume as it then was. These conflicts were also there, but they were properly managed. So I think that we must necessarily begin to exploit the strategies that will bring peace. We don't need to begin to call people names or promote hate speech, because that will not be a solution. I have worked in the Federal Ministry of Niger Delta. We went to the creeks of the Niger Delta. We spoke to the people, and this was only possible because there was a buy-in by the communities. The governors of the Niger Delta at that time, bought into the program of Mr. President, as it then was, late President Yaradua. And we were able to meaningfully change the tide, which led to the restoration of peace in that region. And with that came the benefits of reintegrating the youth of the Niger Delta and training them in different skills. And today they are better off for it. So I think that Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State should do better to continue to collaborate with the federal government. You cannot turn around and hold the president complicit in the activities of bandits. It's unfortunate to do that because the president, as we know, is a man of integrity. He's a man who has built his credentials, who has built his reputation over time. You don't just turn around overnight, I want to bring all of that into the mud. This is our quarrel with the governor's strategy. We are not saying that as a governor of Benue State, he should not protect the interest of his people. But you don't do that at the expense of another. Ethnic profiling will not bring a solution to it. There are good people and there are bad people. There are good people in all the ethnic nationalities and there are bad people everywhere. So we cannot hold the president accountable for the actions of some organized criminals. The Nigerian Defense Academy, which is a citadel of military training in this country, was attacked and officers killed. Are you going to say the president promoted that? It's not possible. And so we need to go back to the drawing board. We need to situate this problem in a way that all can come together and solve it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And let me assure you that Nigerian Television Authority is a good establishment. You are talking about good and bad. All right, that's the program today on Political Update. Thanks for watching. Hoping that you continue to watch and join us again on Friday for another exciting program where we'll give you the very best of political news, reviews, previews, and interviews. My name is Fisai Ogunfi. And as always do, I want to urge you to play your politics for the greater good. Bye-bye now.
There is a lot of fake news and report circulating, especially on social media, on the coronavirus. Do not believe or partake in the spread of these fake reports. If it is not on the official website or news from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, disregard such report. Only together can we beat this virus. Only together can we overcome this pandemic. Follow the instructions and guidelines provided to combat this virus. Most importantly, stay at home. Self-isolate, regardless of your status. The virus doesn't move unless we move. Let us work together to better Nigeria. Together, we can do this.